I want you to know, though, I'm honored to be here today. My name is Jefferson Keel. I'm the president of the National Congress of American Indians. My day job, my real job, is I'm the lieutenant governor of the great unconquered and unconquerable Chickasaw Nation, a nation known for its bravery. More especially its intrepid warriors, never known to have lost a battle. We're also known for humility and dynamic women. But I'm honored to be here. Without the support of my tribe, I could not be here. I could not do this job, and I'm deeply honored to be able to do that. But I wanted to begin my remarks this morning by reflecting on the life of Eloise Cobell. I know that many of you knew her, some of you did not. But as you all know, that on October 16th, we lost Eloise Cobell to cancer. She was a warm, caring person and a friend to many of you in the audience. Even to those who didn't always agree with her, she was a friend and she was well respected. I know that much has been said here and in the past weeks by the many people who were touched by her remarkable life, those who knew her well and those who may have only met her once or twice, but cherish who she was and what she did for Indian country and Indian people. Everyone from President Obama to children on reservations throughout the country have taken time to remember this remarkable woman. I don't know of anyone who doesn't recognize the legacy that she forged and the spirit she carried. She gave so much heart and soul to this world, always in a positive, gentle manner. She had so much insight, built so many institutions for her people, had so much laughter, and loved her family. She sacrificed so much for the settlement, the Cobell settlement that we all have heard about, and we participated in, many of us. Whether we agreed or disagreed, we can look back and say that it was indeed a tremendous accomplishment. She inspired us in so many other ways. She will be greatly missed. Let us not remember her as Cobell versus Salazar, but as Eloise Cobell, wife, mother, grandmother, sister, friend, and an amazing Blackfeet woman. We all have ways of remembering people in our culture. At NCAI, I believe we remember people by showing up and doing the work that we were asked to do by our Creator and our ancestors and the people that we represent daily. From the lives of our ancestors, we have lessons of resilience and commitment. We have lessons that will inspire us to continue to work toward improving upon the conditions for our people. Just as they taught us, we must not shy away from taking on what seems impossible. As you heard this morning, we have congressmen who ask us, don't back down. We will never back down. As sovereign nations, as Indian people, we will never shy away from that responsibility that we have. In Eloise's case, what took her from us tells a story for how we shape our future actions. We must acknowledge cancer's vicious assault on Indian country's most valuable resource, our people, and even more specifically, our women. Cancer is the second leading cause of death among American Indian women and among American Indians older than 45 years old. We must not let this stop us from envisioning a day when things will be different. We must continue to work towards that day. We honor Eloise and our ancestors with a promise to the future generation of leaders that follow in our footsteps to continue the fight for the health of our people. And cancer is just one of the many challenges that our nations face. While we face those many challenges, we're also blessed with the vibrant possibilities for our people and our cultures. All of you sitting here today represent the hard work that goes on every day to brighten that future. Whether it's by creating a new school curriculum, building a stronger economy through clean and responsible energy development, creating better food options, or caring for an elder. We're all walking together toward a new tribal prosperity defined by our culture, our people, and our natural resources. We honor those who have come before us and those who will come after us by reaffirming our resolute commitment as indigenous people to protect the rights of our citizens and our sovereign nations. The founders of this organization provided us with a remarkable legacy. In 1944, the founding members of NCAI came together in Denver, Colorado. They met in Denver because the legacy that their elders had provided for them, the basic existence of our tribal nations, was in jeopardy. It was being threatened. 80 individuals came together from all over the country. They refused to see their footprints wiped away, so they set a new course. They envisioned a new era for the tribal relationship with the federal government, with their neighbors, and with the rest of the world. Since that time, nearly 70 years ago, our members have come together in unity to carry forward this vision of a new era. As a result, the National Congress for American Indians has become a permanent fixture in setting the course for tribal policy and strengthening Indian country and our nation. I want to talk about the work of NCAI over the last year, but before I do, I'd like to draw your attention to the NCAI annual report that's included in your packet, in your conference materials. In the very first pages, you'll find a timeline of last year and the highlights of a few of the milestones that took place over the last year. We weren't able to fit them all in, but I think you'll agree it's an amazing collection of achievements. This and the contents of the annual report shed light on the details of how much NCAI and our partners have accomplished over the last year to advance the work of Indian country. We have attained a tremendous momentum over the past couple of years. We stand at a point in our time where it's important that we not lose any of the progress that we gained. We have to continue that momentum into our future. A year ago, we met for our 67th annual convention in Albuquerque. We were coming off a year when we had secured unprecedented legislative victories and a new focus on tribal issues from our federal partners in the Congress and the administration. Many people wondered if Indian country could utilize this momentum to further advance the protection of tribal sovereignty while directly impacting the lives of our nations, our communities, and our people. I'm happy to tell you that since that time, we've indeed taken important steps forward. And the steps we take together here will define us even more so. At the annual meetings last year, we prepared for President Obama's second annual Tribal Nations Summit. And in the weeks following, we developed a collective vision based on the views and input from throughout Indian country. With the announcement recently of the President's third annual Tribal Nations meeting that's going to be held on December 2nd, we will once again have the opportunity to advance our proposals to allow Indian country to fully participate in the economic recovery of this nation and to secure a legacy for our nation-to-nation relationship that extends for years into the future. This week provides us again with a great opportunity to start that process. Tomorrow, during the General Assembly, we'll have an opportunity to provide input and direction to the messages our tribal nations will carry to the President. Our work this week will be underscored by the fact that we're working in a challenging time, but one that offers promise. These times with economic and political issues have brought Congress's work basically to a standstill. But there's also much promise, especially with the President's attention turning to regulatory fixes that his administration can advance to provide program flexibility that can put America back to work. As tribal nations, we stand prepared to partner with the President in that important work. We are prepared. Our tribal nations can do the work. We simply ask that we be a true partner in that progress. I believe the first responsibility of a tribal leader is to focus. If you have served as a tribal leader for any length of time, and many of you in this room have, you know about the huge number of issues that demand our attention. Every Indian nation faces an array of challenging issues, from specific and localized problems to fundamental challenges we all share to protect our land, ensure the health of our people, educate our citizens, and develop our economies. Tribal leaders get hundreds of emails. You get hundreds of emails every day with technology as it is today. Letters, phone calls, and invitations every week to participate in events. Those things fill up your inbox. Legal and legislative updates and budgets that have to be reviewed. All of those matters are important, and all of them deserve our attention. At the same time, if we're going to be successful, we have to really look at those. If we intend to make positive changes, we have to focus time and resources on specific projects to make sure they get done. Now, we've all heard, we all get the same 24 hours in the day. Every one of us get 24 hours, no more, no less. It's up to us how we use those hours. Many of us work long hours. Our rest time is short. Our work time is long. But that's a commitment that we make when we become tribal leaders. That's the commitment to our people. Tribal leaders make tremendous sacrifices of their time, their energies, their resources, and many times their family life to fulfill those challenges. And I salute the tribal leaders for doing that. Thank you for stepping forward and being willing to help your people. That's exactly what we have to have. I think that our tribal leaders must focus on work that will last for 7 generations, work that can potentially transform our communities. A few weeks ago, the NCAI partnered with an array of leading regional intertribal organizations and the Navajo Nation to focus the attention of Congress on 3 specific issues that are of great concern to Indian tribes. We referred to that as Tribal Unity Impact Week. It was a historic moment, as over 150 tribal leaders participated in 2 days of meetings with our members of Congress on the federal budget for tribal programs, tribal land restoration, and protecting Native women. In one of the most visible displays of our efforts, we stood together as tribal leaders in front of the United States Capitol to speak with the media and called on the leaders of U.S. government to stand with us. I'd like to recognize the incredible ongoing work by Senator Akaka, chairman of the Senate Committee on Indian Affairs, for his steadfast dedication to Indian country. Senator Akaka joined us in front of the Capitol for a moment. What is even more telling is how he stands with us every day. We are grateful for his partnership and his leadership. We stood together during Tribal Unity Impact Week for the issues that will sustain tribal sovereignty in the coming generations and that are central to the federal government's trust responsibility to Indian nations, protecting our land, protecting the Indian budget, and protecting our Native women. Regarding our land and land restoration, the Supreme Court's 2009 decision in Carceri versus Salazar was the first broad stroke challenging the Department of Interior's Land and Trust Authority. Now we're facing another challenge in the Pachak versus Salazar case. which threatens the protection of the Quiet Title Act and the finality of all tribal trust acquisitions. Most recently, during House consideration of interior appropriations in July, there were several legislative attempts to limit the rights of tribes to reacquire land into trust. During Tribal Unity Impact Week, tribal leaders urged Congress to stand firm against any legislation intended to diminish the ability of Indian tribes to acquire land and to fully restore the authority of the Secretary to take land into trust for all federally recognized tribes. As for the Indian budget, we expressed our concerns to Congress about the Budget Control Act and the so-called Super Committee. In fact, we met with a number of members of the Super Committee. Our concern is that the Budget Control Act requires Congress to cap discretionary spending levels for the next 10 years. Much of that funding fulfills the federal responsibility and is categorized, and wrongly in my view, as domestic discretionary spending. As tribal leaders, you all know that the federal trust responsibility is not discretionary. It's not a choice. It's a solemn agreement that is written into the United States Constitution. It's been sustained over hundreds of years, and we cannot back away from that. We cannot ignore and allow them to ignore the federal trust responsibility. We must stand firm. Unless Congress acts to hold tribal programs harmless, and it's up to us, the tribal leaders in this room and across this great nation, starting in 2013, if Congress does not act, we're facing 10 to 15% cuts across the board for Indian programs for the next 10 years. We cannot sustain that. We can't allow that. It's up to us. We must work hard. Tribal leaders stood united in reminding Congress that the federal government's trust obligation to sustain funding for tribal programs is a sacred and historic duty. This obligation is the result of treaties negotiated and agreements made between tribes and the United States in exchange for all lands which make up the United States today. It must be honored and protected within each act of Congress, including those acts pursuant to the Budget Control Act of 2011. Finally, on the issue of protecting Native women, tribal leaders took a stand for protection of Native women. I've said this before, and I'll never tire of saying it. Abuse of our women, assault of our mothers, sisters, daughters, nieces, neighbors, or friends is not traditional to Indian people. All right. It's not. It's tragic. It is tragic, but we have to also be clear about something else. This is a problem that is brought into our communities by non-Native offenders at an alarming and disproportionate rate. As tribal leaders, we must stand against any Native people who hurt or threaten Native women, but we must also acknowledge that the epidemic rates of violence and sexual assault against our Native women are tied directly to the lack of respect for tribal criminal jurisdiction. Until we address that issue, we cannot fully remove this stain from our communities. We have worked very hard, thank you. NCAI has worked closely with the Department of Justice to propose legislation within this year's reauthorization of VAWA, Violence Against Women Act. This proposal would restore tribal criminal jurisdiction over all offenders who commit crimes of domestic violence or dating violence within our communities. Our first Vice President, Juana Mahal Dixon, an important national and international leader on these issues, has worked tirelessly on these issues, and we stand with you, sister. Tribal leaders have stood together with her, urging Congress to respect tribal criminal jurisdiction to empower tribes to protect our own people. We had success during this Impact Week. I want to thank all of you who participated. Your dedication to these issues set the stage for the 3rd Annual Tribal Nation Summit. I want to leave you with some closing thoughts. As people, all of us, our families, our friends, our neighbors, all make an impact when we walk this earth. We affect each other, those around us, and our natural place in the world. As Native people, we've been given a way that is unique to this continent, to this world. We bring the history and lessons of our ancestors to this place. As you made your way from your hotel, many of you crossed the river, crossed the bridge. Right here in Portland, we stand where 2 rivers meet. In another sense, as an organization, and more importantly as tribal nations, we stand where 2 rivers meet. On one hand, we have the very real threat of economic and political crisis. On the other hand, we have the strength of our sovereign tribal nations. We also have a president who is a true partner in our efforts to advance our nations and America as a whole. As we engage these challenges and opportunities this week, I invite you to see the bright future we can build together. Let us speak this week with conviction, with true intent to act upon what is best for our people. There are people watching and listening. The young people around you, the people on the streets, the people across this country, they're watching and listening. Let's show them through our actions that what it means to be a leader, to protect our sovereignty, to do it with dignity, but do it with a firm hand and a firm grasp of what it means. Let us act with the determination of the people of this region. Let us act with the determination of our ancestors. As I said before, over the past couple of years, we have attained and achieved a tremendous momentum. We must continue that. We must ride that momentum into our future. As so many that came before us, those who walked before us, directed us toward a bright and hopeful future. Let's walk together into that future, stronger than ever. It's important that the footprints that we leave honor our ancestors and prepare our great-grandchildren for an even brighter future. I look forward to working with you this week. Tribal leaders, thank you for being here. Thank you for honoring me with this opportunity to address you. Chikmarshki.